Okay, so I'm praying something over myself this year that I'm also praying over the people of Bayside Church. And that prayer is actually about prayer. I have to confess something to you. This past year, my prayer life has been maybe the lowest that it's ever been. I have found myself this year in really hard circumstances. Instead of going to God, I'll kind of wallow in myself. Instead of actually speaking out prayers and requests and thoughts to God, I'll kind of just stew inside of my own mind. Instead of actually seeing God and going to God in the midst of crisis, I'll kind of look around at my circumstances and just decide, man, it's not really worth it to see hope. I'm just going to sit and being stuck. This year, I did not talk to God in the way that God would love to talk to me. And there's this verse in 1 Chronicles 16:11, and it says something that I think I'm going to make the theme of my year, the direction of my year. And it's this: 1 Chronicles 16:11, look to the Lord and his strength. Seek his face always. Not just one time, not just here and there, but always. Look to God. Not only see his face, which is loving and kind towards you, but also see God's strength. I think this year, I want prayer to not just become a habit and a discipline. I want conversation with God to become an instinct for myself. In the midst of really hard situations and loss, I want the first instinct reaction that I have to be, let me find God's face in all of this. When I experience a thought or a doubt, or I'm struggling to believe something about God, I want to get in my car, and instead of stewing inside of my own thoughts, I want to see God's face as an instinct reaction and then overflow to him in prayer because I love him and because I trust him. I want the same thing for you. I want this year for you to know God in a brand new way, where you're able to see God as an instinct reaction to the hard and even sometimes the good things in your life. I want you to experience prayer and conversation with your Father and with your Savior in a way that you never have before. And you know what? I think this is actually very true. I think before something becomes an instinct reaction in you, it has to become a discipline and a habit that you fight for. So my prayer for you, Bayside Church, my prayer for me, Morgan, is that we would set up a habit and a discipline of praying, of talking to God, of crying out to God, of trusting God with our words and our emotions, and that habit would eventually become something we are very much aware that we need. And then it becomes that instinct reaction that God is the first and only person that we go to with the biggest and hardest and best things that we wrestle with.